Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It is that time. It is again tarot time with Cindy and her companion Lily here. So we're gonna do a reading. She's just snuggled right into me. Gonna do collective. We're gonna look at you and who the other is. You and them. And we're gonna do it with an obstacle here. We're gonna do it with an armrest. We're gonna do it with the archetype deck. All right, are you ready? Let's just get right into it. Let's get right into it. Who you are, what motivates you, what have you overcome? And how do you view this other over here? Okay, and then we're gonna ask all the same things of them. We're gonna keep it fair and square. The clock and the reading. Okay, who you are, well, it's in the reverse. Well, you're the monk nun in the shadow. You have a negative judgment of the physical world. Excess piety. You might be praying a little too much. You might be spending a little too much between you and the divine, and everything you see on the outside world is shit. I'm gonna just be honest. I mean, honestly, out of all of the cards, like the one to pull out negative, this is probably the most positive one. I see that. I notice I'm getting like the old lady wrinkles here. So I'm gonna start doing this. I think it's from the last month and a half I've been like this. I just start doing that, okay? I'm not fixing my mustache. I'm just doing that now. Okay, so y'all, I do. It really is. It's like you see the world in a negative light and you see things spiritually. You're much more connected. Spiritual side, that's who you are. What motivates you? Well, that's in the light. Maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit, version in the light. You don't want the bad, nasty outside world to interfere or jeopardize your holy, beautiful spiritual energy. I love it so far. Okay. I love them all, actually. I love these readings. So what have you overcome? Child nature, friendships with animals, communication with nature, spirits. So maybe you're communicating with the animals somehow. Like you're communicating with all the animals now. That's interesting. Huh. I'm really picking up an interesting person here, because it looks like I would say, you know what, you're living my dream life. I've tried to get this dream life for myself since, I don't know, as young as I can remember myself being. And every time I think I'm on the course to living in a cabin by myself in the woods, by a little body of water or something, God has a different plan. It looks like to me, you're kind of like living a similar plan to this. You literally are, but you're like, the world is bleh. The world is bleh. And your motivation is to keep you pure, not to let the outside bleh interfere with your purity. And while you're doing that, I feel like you've figured out how to really connect with nature and the animals and the world around you. Or do you? It's what motivates you, is friendship with animals. But the physical world is part of animals, unless that's being very specific, right? And it's saying the physical world in terms of what man has built. You can't see her, but she's got her head on my knee. She's such a princess. Okay. How do you view the other? Well, actually, it's upright. Can't be that bad. Let's see. A visionary. They have, in the light, a capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. I feel like you see a comrade. Because, I mean, somebody who's a visionary and they're going to talk about things and proclaim certain visions, regardless of what the outcome could be, or if they're going to gain anything out of it or not. I mean, it's somebody who's probably not functioning on the level that you're looking at the world and going, oh, the fucking shitty world we live in. So that's good. I think you see like a bosom buddy. You see like a bosom buddy out of this person. Okay, let's do that. It's in the upright. That's who they are. They're a networker. In the light, they enhance unity through the sharing of information. Engenders social awareness and empathy. Yeah. Oh, this is so intriguing. You literally see this person as what they are. Yeah. And isn't it funny? Like, they're in the light. And I said, I mean, honestly, out of all the cards you could pull in the shadow, this one is not. Who isn't there sometimes? What motivates them? Okay, now this is interesting because this is in the reverse. Child eternal in the shadow. Inability to grow up and be responsible. Extreme dependency on others for physical security. That's what motivates them. I feel like there might be people around them that don't know how to be responsible. That have, when it says not just a dependency, an extreme dependency on others. I mean, it could be a kid. Quite honestly, literally, like, it could be a kid, right? Like, they need time. They need time to not have extreme dependency on others. What they've overcome. Oh, God in the shadow. Despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. Wow, this is going to be a fascinating reading. They've overcome, I feel like they've overcome somebody or something that had a lot of authority or has a lot of authority. And this authority uses that to control people, but in a cruel manner. Like maybe forcefully? Interesting, like, right? They've overcome that. And what motivates them are people who are dependent on other things here. How they view you? Well, it's in the shadow. What's going on with that? Alchemist in the reverse. Misuse of the power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. You are keeping your spiritual practice like really to yourself here. Huh. And this interesting. Father's at the bottom, but I want to shuffle. I want to ask, how do you know this other person, or how are you connected to them? We need to get into the tarot too. I mean, I want to make sure this person isn't trying to make people do, oh, it's in the reverse. Athlete in the shadow. Misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends. False sense of invulnerability and entitlement. I'm getting like a bit of a deja vu with this reading. Where sort of like being connected, knowing, I feel like you know this person through a situation or a circumstance where you were both being controlled or manipulated. Sorry, I was looking at where some water was dripping. By another. What's the underline now? An addict in the reverse. Compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. All right. You're the monk nun in the reverse. You're looking at the outside world with negative judgment. Excess spirituality. Piety. Piety? The monk nun. Seven of Wands. Don't come at me. You have a very strong boundary here between you and the outside world. I feel like too, like how this other person views you. I don't know if I would say the misuse of power and knowledge, but you may only be using it for yourself that comes through spiritual practice. You could also be, okay, if you've learned a lot of things here, like on a spiritual level, you may not, you know, and before I say this, I want to say this maybe because you're not ready yet, you're not comfortable with the outside world, whatever it could be. But it looks like whatever you've learned spiritually here, you're not necessarily practicing it in the physical. You might feel like you see so much around you that is the complete opposite of spiritual enlightenment and spiritual growth. And, right, you don't want to kind of like adulterate your own energies with those energies. Yeah, and it's a... Because Seven of Wands is all about, like, serious boundaries here. And I'm not going to lie, you might even be doing something spiritually here where you are sending some sort of magic towards negative forces. Okay. Sorry, I gotta keep moving my... No, that's not gonna work. There we go. My water. All right. What motivates you is maintaining your purity of your heart and your spirit. You're not... But it's funny because it's in the light, right? If it was the shadow, it would be a fear of intimate union, like being intimate with other people. You don't have that fear. I kind of feel like you're making an accurate judgment about something around you, people around you. And it's important to you that you maintain this purity of your heart and your spirit. Oh, the Page of Swords. You know what you see. I don't know what's going on, but you legit see something here that is far from angelic, divine, spiritual, conscious. And you're guarding yourself. Yeah, for sure. If anything, I want to say, well, now what you've overcome is friendship with animals, communication with nature spirits. I feel like, well, we'll see what tarot comes out with that. But I feel almost as if you either are like, if you're sharing yourself with others, it's with animals. You know, like you're not completely isolated here. Even if you don't have a pet or a familiar, it could be like the animals around you. Nature, just natural animals like bunnies and squirrels and birds and things like that. Others of you may have actually been in a situation where you were looking after animals and you're no longer doing that. The Nine of Wands. Huh. You know, that's what you've overcome. This is really intriguing because it literally looks like you have somehow managed to like create communication between yourself and like nature. But it also looks like something that has been a long time coming, something that's been very difficult. Or if there's been communication and it hasn't been 100% understood between you and animals, you've got this figured out. I am really picking up the energy here of somebody who is, I'm inclined to use the word recluse. Someone who's a bit of a recluse here. And if you've not been speaking with other people, because that's completely possible with the energy as I'm seeing it unfold here on the table. And if you've been trying to focus communication with animals, like, and it can even be something subtle. I mean, I could think of my stepdad years ago, God bless his soul, his heart, rest his soul. He used to have this big, I don't know if it was a crow or a raven, used to always come to his for like a good 5 years consistently. And it was sort of like late winter. And he would put food out for this big crow. And every year at that same time, and it was almost like, right, like they were communicating with each other. And I want to say it's probably the crow maybe it was getting difficult to start to find food. I imagine late winter, just before early spring is tricky. Like a lot of things have already been depleted. New things aren't growing anymore. And like they were communicating. I mean, it could be like something like that. You notice the bird feeder's empty, or you know a storm is coming, fill it up. I don't know. You're totally connected to nature here. And it's weird because it's almost like this has been difficult or a long time coming. And it might also be where you are feeling healed So visionary. I know, right? You can't. What's the alternative to aging? Is being dead. You should appreciate every wrinkle. I don't like the wrinkles here. There's a lot of wrinkles I have, and that one, I don't like those. So, how you view the other? You view them as a visionary. The King of Wands. Very dynamic, outwardly active. So that's also interesting. They are coming up as a networker in the light. So you're very, very spiritual. I think you see this other person as spiritual. Maybe not to the same degree that you are. They could be practicing this more physically in some way. But also, you know, right? A willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. So the King of Wands is like that. Well, this is how it's going to be today, and I don't give a fuck, and that's what we're doing. I saw this when I woke up this morning, and that's how we're going to go today, or that's how I'm going to go. You can come with me or not. Like, kind of up to you. You do whatever you want to do. So that's how you see the other. Okay. So I think I might clarify you a little bit more later on, but it seems pretty clear. Yeah. You've definitely seen, I don't know, either you're you have been a bit of a recluse for quite some time, or there's something here that's happened that has caused you to like, whoa, I'm having none of this. I'm having none of this with the world today. Okay, so the other is the networker in the light. They do enhance unity through sharing of information, creating social awareness and empathy. Oh, wow, the Ace of Cups. This is definitely, you see this person doing good work. Okay, but well, I'm curious about what motivates them. Is the child eternal in the reverse? An inability to grow up and be responsible. Extreme dependency on others for physical security. Oh, wait a second. If this person... Okay, just wait. What comes out with it? The Knight of Cups. Right now. Okay, I'm taking a slightly different, I'm getting a slightly different energy from this now. Okay, this is someone who definitely does good things for people. This is someone who wants to do things where, you know, or engage with people, and then when that engagement with that person is over, they feel really good about it, and the person that they were engaged with, whether that's through conversation or, I don't know, some type of transaction, that person feels good as well, okay? That's who they really are. Now, I feel like this person will at times butter up others that they, okay, how do I want to say this? Let's just say, I think that we all, to some degree, have interdependent relationships with one another in different ways, right? Well, actually, like, this is a really good example. If you guys weren't here, I would have nothing to read. I could read for myself over and over again, but that would get really boring after a while, which is actually why I started the YouTube channel. So even like between you and I, we have an interdependent relationship. You come to me for the entertainment or the insight or a different spin on life and perspective, and you give me an ability to make a living and also like entertain myself and expand my own mind and read some type of energy. And I think I'm using that example too because this person approaches relationships where there's dependency on others. They approach it, to be honest, like it's not devil. That's what's really curious. It's not devilish energy. It's not, I got you in this hold, so you got me. It's not coercive. It's not manipulative. It's kind of like, you look really great today. And yeah, I just want you to have a good experience. You're dealing with me, and I'm going to go now. You know, and I don't want to say, I mean, there's a possibility this person might be a little bit goody two-shoes. But I'm going to be honest with you, this person's heart, right? Like if they recognize here that, you know, if they go into work and this person brings donuts for everybody, this person may not necessarily be thinking, okay, if I bring donuts every day, like I'm not getting strategy out of this person. What I'm getting is, I want us to all feel good. I just, you know, and if some people associate me with that feeling good energy, hey, that's okay. That's great. Then maybe we'll have good connected relationships. That's what this person looks like. Okay. So like, keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to drink here. Yeah, I need to hydrate. I got it right on. What have they overcome? It's God in the shadow, despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. I don't see it being this person, like doing that. I mean, maybe if they really turned it around then, but the Hierophant, ooh, no, this person's been under the thumb of some sort here. Or maybe they were the authority figure. There's an authority figure here, like 100%, with God and the Hierophant. Yeah, they've overcome an authority figure. I'm not sure if they were the authority figure, like they were doing these things, or these things were being done to them. I don't know. I need more cards to tell me that. Maybe the authority figure was math. I mean, I can totally relate. The authority figure in my life is math. Okay, how they view you. Is the alchemist in the shadow, though? That's so interesting. They think you have power and knowledge that come through you that you don't use or share. Share. Ah. Okay. The Knight of Pentacles. They think you have a plan here that you're not sharing. That's what they think. They think you have some type of a long-term plan that you're not sharing. Well, you're not sharing. Maybe with pets. That's okay. They think you have a long-term plan here and you ain't sharing that shit. So I also want to say that I feel like this person, like, I'm sorry if I'm leaning really close to the camera, see all those wrinkles. If this person has, right, I said either they have been an authority figure here and they've used that to their advantage in some way to have control over other people, or that's been something that they've experienced through an authority figure. Now, it's interesting though, right? Because there's something, this person is all like lovey, I don't know, lovey-dovey, but hopeful and bright and sweet and kind to deal with the Ace of Cups and the Knight of Cups. This could even be like a reformed something. I don't know, like a boss. Their spiritual energy here is really strong. Could be two people who both practice some type of spiritualism, religion, and this person may have been a leader of some sort and kind of like gotten off on that leadership and what it gave them, right? Okay, but they've reformed themselves and they understand that there are still situations in life where we are dependent on others. So instead of controlling others, I'm going to use my heart. I'm going to use my heart. And if we have a good experience together, that is great. really is different. And so I feel like they're looking at you like it's almost like maybe they recognize that you have some type of similar power that they do, but you're not using it. You're not using it for anybody. What that means, I don't know, right? Like, I don't even necessarily think that, it doesn't necessarily have to be a judgment. It's just a thought or an observation, possibly. So, okay, how you know? Well, then that's interesting, right? Because I said there's misuse. The word misuse appears a couple of times here. It appears here on this card. Sorry, there's glare, so. And then it also appears here on this card in terms of how you're connected to them. Right? Well, using power to control people is also a misuse of power. Misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends. So I want to say it could be something athletic. I got to be honest, like 99% of the time when this card comes out, I don't feel like we're necessarily dealing with what this card obviously states. I think it's talking about like physical limitations in life, right? Like resources and finances and obligations and all those sort of things. So misusing the physical aspects for selfish ends. Like almost having a false sense. Somebody here has a sense that they're invulnerable and they're entitled. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Again, if it's you and this person have been through that together, and this person is kind of out and about now, and they're, I would say, growing, expanding, and networking, but you are not. So they might even be noticing that you, or maybe you're still alchemizing. I don't know. You might still be alchemizing. You haven't hatched out of your chrysalis yet. So, well, let's look at the athletic in the reverse. Is how you know this person. You do know them through some type of authority that has been misused here. Whether they were that authority figure or you both were dealing with the same authority figure. Oh my God. The Hermit. Yeah. What? Three of Pentacles. I need to know more here. Okay, tell me about this Hierophant. We're gonna go there first. Tell me about the Hierophant. This is connected to the God in the reverse. It's what they've overcome. The King of Cups. Tell me about the Hierophant. The Star. The Hierophant has great legs. In the world. She does. That's so funny. It's like all these legs. Okay, the Hierophant's got legs. These boots were made for walking, and that's just what I'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you. There's something really intriguing about that, because as these cards start, right, he's got really heavy boots on, the King of Cups, and then she's just got like these little heels on, and then there's barefoot. So it's freeing oneself from there could even be some type of a cycle here where God was like controlling this person. Well, when isn't God controlling us? But it's something that they've overcome. Like how God, or how someone was using the authority of something higher to control them. I feel like this person has been through some type of reform. Either they see you as a little bit gun shy because of some, I don't know, there's authority. Tell me, okay, what plan do they think you're up to? Like you've got some type of a long-term plan here. And a big part of that seems to be, I want to say keeping, I don't know, spiritual knowledge to yourself through your spiritual practice. The Queen of Swords, the Six of Cups, what's your long-term plan? The King of Swords. These are two like-minded people. And there's a little bit like the extended that came out, or the collective reading that came out earlier today. There's a little bit of the vibe of these two on the table. Now, in that reading, there were three energies. There was you, the friend, and the foe. In this, I'm seeing you, and I would, to some degree, describe this as a friend. Because this is two very like-minded people. What's the Hermit energy with the misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends? I feel like, though, that's you physically vacating, getting out of Dodge. You got out of Dodge. The world is a shitty place. I'm going into my cave. I'm putting the rock over the entrance, and that's it. It's kind of like your vibe. Oh, there you go. The Four of Pentacles. You've locked the door. Nobody's coming in. Nobody's coming in. The Four of Cups. The fucking world sucks. And I'm holding back. Me and my dragon here. What is this? Seriously? You are fascinating. Oh, yeah. It could also be like, it looks like you're holding out for something specific. You may just be holding out for someone who's like just like you, has the same mindset. Well, you'll never meet each other. Why do you see that? Why you got your guard up? You're defending yourself against the world. God is better. Well, these are all facts too. Human beings are fallible and born of sin. Ten of Wands. I don't even... You have felt the weight of responsibility. Okay. You have experienced situations where other people will expect you to work and help them with their needs and wants in life. But it seems like a lot of responsibility is put on you, and other people don't really show up to help much. So that's who you are. So I totally see like you have a legitimate reason for having a kind of a negative outlook towards the world. You have a very deep inner world and spiritual world here. Very deep. And then, so what motivates you is this maintaining your purity. What you see is what, right? Page of Swords. You take long observations here. You've learned a lot. You've seen a lot. And you know a lot. Because of all of that. And Natush Tapa. It's you with the world. So what have you seen here? What have you seen? I'm afraid to ask, actually. The Two of Pentacles. The High Priestess. Oh. And the Five of Wands. Oh, that's so interesting. You've seen how people can use your spirituality against you. 1 minute they can be spiritual with you. The next minute they can hide something like and cause like conflict and strife. Oh yeah, you've seen some shit here. The readings today have a real sort of Merlin energy to me. Seriously, like a real kind of Merlin energy. Like a little bit of that Harry Potter feel. It's like I picked it up in the other collective. You and another are very spiritual, magical, mystical. And then in this reading, because I want to focus on this one, because it could be you and another magical, mystical person for all I know, is you don't necessarily trust other people maybe in spiritual realms, or you take a long, hard look here. There's definitely some magic energy about in this reading too. Well, and I said Merlin kind of, because you got it locked up. You really got it locked up. Your energy is so well locked up. What else to say? But because of that, see, like the Four of Cups is I want to say it's kind of like the monk nun in reverse. It's a negative outlook on the outside world. But because of that, you could miss a higher cup here. There you go. Yeah, it's a bit of a conundrum. Because A, I don't feel like who you are is baseless based on the cards that have come out. This other person may have also overcome some period here of heavy spiritualism, and they're kind of just getting out and living life. You know what? I'm not going to think about the consequence. Well, I don't know about that. I want to say this person's just getting out and living. I'm sure like a lot of you could probably relate to the fact, like when you've had an awakening period in your life and you don't see the world in the same lens that you saw it before, you end up having kind of a different way of, a different method of operation. I see you in that. I think I see this other person as sort of not necessarily going back to the same method of operation that they used to have, but they're possibly taking some heavy lessons here and they're now practicing them in real life. So you, the Nine of Wands with the animals. You're like, yeah, I'll start with the animals. That's what you've overcome. That's curious. Oh my God. The Ten of Swords. What the fuck have you been? The Empress. And the Knight of Swords. Well, okay, I think you are starting to kind of rebuild your energy and your confidence here. I don't know, after something pretty difficult. I think it's that. I think I gotta start doing that. After something pretty difficult, right? Okay. And you see this other as the King of Wands visionary. They envision things that others can't even conceive. I'm sure that you do too, but I don't think that you're doing or talking. Ooh, the Magician. The Page of Wands. And the Ten of Cups. This is a big dreamer. I don't know who this is. This energy, I see you as being apprehensive, very much so. Their energy is really, honestly, it's, as I said, right? We're all interconnected. So we're all dependent on one another. And we honestly are. I mean, our energies are connected across the board around the world. Some energies we may receive more than others, depending on our own frequencies, right? And this person has the approach that, like, I've never had a message like this before. I really love it, to be honest. That if I can step into this space that I know we're all part of anyways, I can't change that. I rely on my boss for my paycheck. My boss relies on me to get the work done. And my clients rely on me to do the things that they need, so that, and then we rely on them to actually pay it, and yada yada, right? Like, it's there. But instead of like embracing it in a way that is, okay, how can I prove to the boss that I'm the only person who can get this done? And if I can prove that long enough, my boss is going to start to feel really anxious and like want to keep me happy. Because then he or she is going to feel like their job depends on me. So they better keep me happy. And then if I prove to the client this, no. It's like, I'm coming into this space and let what, do you want donuts? What do you want? It's different. It's like it's building on nice stuff. It is. It's building on nice stuff. So you have the Lovers and the Moon here. Very interesting. The Lovers and the Moon. A deep spiritual. I just heard funk. So maybe some of you are going through a deep spiritual funk. Well, I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I'm going to ask what this other person doesn't know about you, which I want to say is probably a lot, because you do seem to be kind of secretive and hidden. They think you got a plan here, a long-term plan that you're not sharing with other people. I'm going to ask what you don't know about them, and what are their hidden intentions towards you. And that's what I got, my friends. The link to the extended is down in the description. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves. Bye.